Yeah. Hello fellow island riders, glad to have you along for the adventure again today. Today we are headed on a bigger adventure, if you will. We're headed across the Northumberland Strait again. We're making our way for our yearly New Brunswick trip. And boys, oh boys, I can tell you, I'm super freaking excited. I'm super pumped. We got a lot of cool stuff in store on the mainland, for sure. Like, we've got some rides planned that are going to be, yeah, really, really cool stuff. But yeah, every year I like to try to take some time to head over back to New Brunswick, even just to visit family, and I keep the plans a little bit loose, but this time we got some really cool plans. We got some really awesome adventures that we're going to take on over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to saddle back up here and we're going to head over to the booth and we're going to make our way across Confederation Bridge. I'll pick you up there on the bridge, folks. I wonder if this is some of your first times over the Confederation Bridge here, Island Riders. Most of you folks know we usually take this trip once every year, and in some sort of way or fashion, just to get some time for me to get back home. And I'm excited for that too, because I've actually got some family members that are coming from quite a far away. I've got my sister-in-law and my nephew who are both coming out here from Winnipeg, so I haven't seen them in a long time. I'm so pumped to see you guys. It's got to be great. But also, like I mentioned, we've got some other really cool adventures coming. For example, we're gonna go moto camping. And I'm totally pumped for that. That's happening Sunday, so that's a few days away. I'm out here for like 5 days, by the way. So however long this series is however long it is. I don't think it'll be too long, but me and KLR Phil have it in the books right now to go moto camping up in Martin Head, which is something I've been wanting to do for so long. Oh, I'm so pumped for it. On top of that, the day before, Saturday, Hugo from Babino Moto is leading a really good ride with the crew from the New Brunswick Dirt Riders Association. We're going to be hitting up the Fundy Coast, and it's going to be amazing. Hello, fellow adventurers. And man, I can't wait. That's going to be such a good ride. Hugo's got like a really good route planned out for us. It's a perfect blend. Everything on paper looks amazing. Might have some water crossings, but we'll get down to Alma. We'll get down around to, like, you know, all the cool spots in southern New Brunswick, just to enjoy all the beauty that has to offer down there. So I'm excited. But before we get too much further, because you know that the Confederation Bridge, it loses its novelty quite quickly. So I won't keep you out here for too long. I did want to show you something cool back at the garage, actually. One of the things that I do before I do one of these trips is I do a really good pre-trip inspection. And I do that for a lot of reasons. And I actually caught a couple things this time around during the inspection. So I'm going to flip you back to the garage real quick. We'll go over the inspection, what I do, and we'll go over the items I found and how I corrected them. Anyway, I'll meet you back up here on the road here a little later. All right, so back in the garage here, rolling the clock back a little bit on the adventure here a little bit, because I wanted to do this just because I wanted to show you a little bit of what I do for a pre-trip inspection. Now, normally I come here in the garage and I show you how I pack up the bike and everything like that. But, I think one of the important things to discuss before you head out on an adventure is just what you should look at, or at least what I look at, as far as making sure the bike is going to perform for me. And, giving me a little bit of peace of mind on this, because when you're out on adventure, when you're out riding your bike, you don't want to be thinking about all the things that could go wrong on your bike. You want to be thinking about all the cool things that you're going to see. You want to get excited. But if you're constantly working against that little thing in the back of your mind that says, oh, what if this breaks? What if this breaks? Well, that's rough.
So one of the things that I like to do is I do a pre-trip inspection and I see if I can catch anything early on while I'm at home base here, while I've got all my resources to fix things. So let's go over a little bit about that. All right, so I got the bike up on the jack just primarily right now so I can have the wheels free a little bit. And I'm gonna start right here at the wheels and the tire. So the first thing I'm gonna look at is I'm gonna take a look at the condition of the tire itself. So I'll put it on an angle here a little bit so we can see. Now I do have some cupping going on here, but it's nothing serious. I've actually gotten a handle on that this year a little bit good, a little bit better. And it's been the result of having a little bit of a higher tire pressure. I'm running this at about like 28, PSI. But also between this, what I'm looking for are issues with the rim, like dents in the rim that I've just like not paid attention to by daily commuting every day. Maybe something I missed on my pre-ride inspections. So I'm looking for issues like that. The other thing I'm looking for is a little bit of an alignment, and essentially what I'm doing is I'm trying to just put my eyes on this tire a little bit, on this wheel a little bit, looking for condition. Again, next thing I'll take a look at is the rotor system. I'll take a look at that rotor, make sure that there's no big cracks, no big warps or anything like that. Give it a spin so I can see if there's any kind of issue there. It's looking pretty good. After that, I take a look at the brakes. So for the brakes, I'm just going to take a peek down and I'm going to take a look at the wear in there and make sure I have lots of brake to work with. And I already checked this one out. It looks like it's pretty good. So that's the front tire. Let's take a look at the rear tire now. Do the same kind of thing. And while I make my way over to the rear tire, I'm kind of progressively moving from one end of the bike to the other. I'm also going to take a look at the engine casing a little bit and look for any kind of leaks that are around the gasket areas and things like that. So again, putting your eyes on the bike to make sure that there are no issues. I also have my preload looking at that a little bit. I've got it all jacked up because I plan to put a lot of luggage on the bike this time because we're going to go do some moto camping. I want to have all my gear up there, so I want to have that preload dialed up. Give a little wiggle on the clutch lever, checking that out. That looks pretty good. Also, I'll take a look at that sprocket. So I'm going to be looking for broken teeth. I'm going to be looking for excessive sprocket wear. This one's really good. This is a 15 tooth sprocket, by the way. Next thing I'll do is I'm going to check my chain slack. So for me, what I like to do, I know just by the feel of this that this is good, but for me, I just like it to have it, just touching this little guide here when it's up on the jack. That lets me know it's good. Back again, we're getting closer to the rear tire again here. I'm going to take a look at this sprocket. I'm going to do the same thing I did before, and I'm just going to take a look for any bad teeth. And in the process of this, I'm just giving the bike's rear tire a little spin, making sure it spins freely. I'll give it a little jiggle here too to see if I can feel if there's any issue with the wheel bearing. If there is any issue with the wheel bearing, this tire will move laterally. It'll go like, gunk, 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 like that. So that'll tell you there's an issue with the wheel bearing. Next, I'm going to roll over to the other side and have a look at the brakes. So I will say this, I'm kind of doing this inspection for the camera. I've already done my pre-trip inspection already, and I'll say, we found something. So normally when I do these, I don't usually find anything. Everything is fine, but the reason why I keep doing it is because you never know when you're going to find something like that. I don't know if you can see it, but geez, that's a lot of wear on the brakes. Yeah, have a look at that. Burned all the way down past the wear indicator. These guys are done. And this one specifically, take a look at the wear on that. See how it's lower on this side and this side? That's a symptom of a seized caliper. All right, so for this case, I'm kind of cramped in here. It's all right. But in this case, if you find an issue on like a critical part, and when I'm talking about critical parts, I'm talking about brakes, all right, or your engine, or your clutch, or something like that, you've got to be ready to call off the trip if you can't get the parts to deal with it. Luckily for me, I've got my buddy Mitch, the man, of course, always saving us. He was able to get me set up with a brand new set of rear brake pads, but I told him, and he was going to give the brake pads off the back of his tire for me. And I said, no, buddy, you can't do that. Geez, you got to keep your adventure alive. First rule of first aid, don't become a casualty. So if I couldn't get that part, I was ready to scrap this whole trip. You know, I know things have been so fun, but it's not worth it. You know, could you imagine going down a steep grade with a bunch of bikes in a group ride, and it's just all rock and shale, and you go for that rear brake and you've got nothing? Wham, you hit another bike, it's a chain reaction, who knows what happens. Now you're like wrecking all sorts of other bikes. Plus, that's just like, you know, on the trail. Consider the highway. Not being able to have the stopping power that you need on the highway, that's a scary thing to think about, really. I don't like thinking about that at all. So I'm gonna get these brakes changed out. Now, why did this happen? I have a feeling it had something to do with all that foolish red mud that me and Brandon got up to. You know, we had that bike's back tire just swamped. So I imagine there was some gunk got up in there and seized the caliper up on one of the pistons, and it just ended up wearing it out, and I didn't spot it. You know, for me, I still had braking power, but I wasn't gonna have it for too long. If I would have went on those brakes on this trip, I would have lost them, 100%, probably. But I put a whole can of brake clean on them, and the pistons, they're moving back and forth now. I did a little test. They can clutch and release. So I'm gonna go ahead and change those brakes out. We'll do a little bit of a test after that, and maybe bleed the brakes out a little bit. All right, that takes care of that issue. If you ever wondered why it's important to do a pre-ride inspection, well, that's the way to do it. All right, let's check the old brake fluids level here. That's looking good. We're gonna check out the oil level. Ooh, that's a little bit low, eh? Look at that, another thing to top up. All right, so next item, keeping with fluids, let's have a look at the coolant level. Kind of hard to see like that, isn't it? It's a little bit better. There we go, right in between. It's kind of where I like it, cold at least. It'll be a little bit higher when it's, you know, when it's running, but that's good there. So now that we got those deficiencies taken care of, and I'm glad we were able to find them, let's take a look at our bolt situation. Now, I'll tell you right now, this year, I've already had to replace one of the bolts for the seat on the other side because it just like, you know, wound out. And actually the threading inside that bolt was a little bit rough, so I had to take the old tap and die kit to it there and put a new bolt into it, but that's all taken care of. So, looking for things that are coming off the bike, specifically this fella here, the subframe bolt. So I'm gonna check the torque on that one, and then I'm gonna just overall just take a look at things that are not the way they should be. Looking for holes on the bike that shouldn't be there. There we go. 18 foot-pounds for that fella. Do the same to the other side. All right, so let's look at the suspension here. And I'm just gonna bounce on the suspension a little bit. What I'm looking for here is that nothing bottoms out on me. After checking the suspension, I'm going to go over the controls now. So, number one, I'm going to check my clutch. That's pretty good. I like that. That's not too bad of an issue. I just know the feel of that one. But what I'd be looking for here is to see if this has ultimately got way too much slack than normal. If that's the case, I would be coming up and I'd be looking into this part here to see if I had any frayed ends on the clutch. I'd look at the other end too. Try to detect a broken clutch cable already. I'm going to bring a clutch cable with me. That's just part of my on-the-road spares. Brake, we already tested the brake, but I'm just looking for that. Throttle, I want to make sure it snaps back, which it will, which is good. I can also take a look down at the carburetor here too, just to make sure we got the same kind of action going on. No problems. Again, I'm looking for threaded cables and such at the carburetor to make sure there's no issues there. After that, it's electrical checks. So we'll put the bike on. We'll do our normal blinker tests here. Looks good. Check the high-low beams. Looks good. We'll check our trail lights while we're at it. Looks nice. Check the distribution system. Probably going to use this. Distribution system is go. And then we're going to check our brake light. Front brake. Rear brake. And we'll take a look at the old license plate light. And here's a good test. Does the bike even start? Probably want to know if it starts or not, right? Right on. There we go. All right, so that is pretty much the pre-trip inspection for me. Is there stuff that you like to do for your pre-trip inspection? Please let me know. I'm always looking at enhancing this. Anything I can do to make my bike safer is, you know, good for me. I like that. However, I'm going to take and get the bike packed up now. I'm going to get back on the road. However, we're already on the road if you're watching this. So I'll just send you back. We're probably up around Coburg Road maybe now. I think. Depends. You know, like I said, the plans for this trip are really, you know, relaxed. I've got no place to really be. I'm just going to chill out this weekend back home. Anyway, I'll get you guys back out the road. I'll see you out there.
All right, so we're off the island, Island Riders. And I should say hello and welcome Mainland riders. Jeepers creepers, this old stuff is some squirrely. Last time I did this, last time I was up here, and where here is Coburg Road, just outside of Port Elgin. And geez, the last time I did this, the grader had just come through and made everything so sandy and so just loose, incredibly loose. There's about 4 inches in the middle of that. That's like 4 inches of just loose, sandy mystery. But that's fine. There's a good little compact shoulder here, and we're all right with a little bit of the sand anyway. We're a fan of that. So yeah, glad I got those things fixed up before we left. I did that just this morning actually, and man, oh man, it feels good. I got a lot more confidence now on the bike, and yeah, it was a beautiful ride coming back over. We went through kind of the scenic portion, the southern coastal area, approach to Port Elgin, but now this is my favorite part of just getting on to New Brunswick, because this is a long old dirt run. Whoa, feel that rut take over. I wish you could just see how squirrely it is underneath. But it's a really good one. This is a long old run, and it'll take us really close to Dieppe, and I'm excited for that. Let's get legged out here. Whoa, 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 whoa. There we go. Look at this monster up here. I can't tell. Oh, there's a road. That's ideal, I guess. Is he going right or is he going left? He's going right. Look at that machine, eh? That'll get you in and out of the woods all right. Yeah, so that's the downside of being up through here. There's a lot of logging activity. And you just gotta, like that blind hill up there, you gotta be mindful of it. You come up over it, you could be staring face to face to a logging truck in the middle of the road because it doesn't know that there's anybody coming. That's all right. We don't have to make it into the Dakar out here. We could just make our time, take our time, head up to... Whoa, almost wiped out good there. I'm gonna stay slow. I'm gonna get off to the right here. I know I'm gonna dig into this stuff. There we go. Woo! That was close. Well, looks like we found the grader. It's coming my way. That big old windrow. Find a good moment to just kind of skadoosh straight over it. There we go. No prob. Whoa, big culvert. And another one. Whoa, the dust is just crazy. Yes, all right. I could see the end of Coburg Road, or at least our Coburg Road run, our tradition when we come to New Brunswick. We made it, almost lost it once. But I had a great time on this one. So, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm gonna head into town and then head back to the homestead and probably have some beers with Dad, I imagine. But I'll pick you folks back up again on our next little New Brunswick adventure as a part of this little quick series here that we're doing up. I think it's going to be a real fun one. We'll have some friends tag along, both from New Brunswick here. I got a couple of folks that I'm going to be meeting up with, so I can't wait to share that with you. So I'm going to keep pushing, and if you're keeping on riding, ride safe until we meet again out here in the brown dirt, the brown mud. Take care, Island Riders. Oh, the dust, I love it.